to the computer. Share screen. All right, guys. Here we go. All right. So welcome to the call. My hair is a little bit shorter in that picture. I need to get a new one. So if you're invited to the call tonight, someone invited you because they care a lot about you. They either thought that you could benefit tremendously from our products and or maybe physically and financially with the financial opportunity that this company has to offer. So tonight, my name is Melissa Hinault, and I am going to do an overview for you today about the products, why there's a niche and a need and a market need and trend for our products, why they're right for you. But then also we're going to talk a little bit about the financial opportunity and how someone like myself has been able to retire from corporate America to do this full time. So that's going to be kind of the bulk of the conversation. We're going to spend a lot of time on product up front. If the financial opportunity is not something you're interested in, that is totally okay. I wasn't interested in it either when I first started. I was just looking to get healthy. I would recommend you stay on for at least a minute or two to learn about how you can eat for free. And then you can jump off. You don't have to hear about being financially free, but at least learn how to get your products paid for. So again, my name is Melissa Hinault. I can't start the call without at least sharing a little bit about myself. Why are you listening to me tonight? Who am I? So I'm a pharmacist who 3 years ago was working the grind. I'm going to get to, I guess I'll go to my life before Isagenix. I was in corporate America, medical affairs, and traveling a lot, and I was exhausted. I had 2 kids in diapers. I had insomnia. I had a foggy head. And at that point, probably wouldn't admit to anyone except for maybe my spouse that I was really struggling with the amount of time I was trading for money. I had a significant income, but I didn't see my family much, and I was kind of strapped to that financial burden. So I went to a dear friend looking for a solution for my health. I'd always been a health nut. On the outside, I looked, super fit, but I was just exhausted on the inside. Fast forward a couple of weeks into my journey with Isagenix again, was solely interested in the products when I first started. For the first time in 8 to 10 years, I was finally sleeping like a baby. We'll talk about why in a little bit. I had mental clarity. I was a more productive employee. I was just operating on all cylinders. I had mental clarity and high energy. So for the first time in months, I was not skipping pages. I tell people I stopped skipping pages in the books with my kids at bedtime. Those of you who are moms with little ones, you know what I'm talking about. When you're trying to skip those pages and hurry up because you're exhausted and you want to get to bed. I found myself being more engaged, a more engaging mother and spouse and colleague. And I coincidentally lost 6 inches in my waist in about 30 days. Now, from a financial standpoint, if you fast forward, I've been with the business a little over 3 years. That's when I started my journey with the products. Last year, I was able to become debt-free. When I started my journey with Isagenix, I still owed over $100,000 in college loan debt that I was paying interest on. While working this business in the pockets of my time, before I was even able to retire from corporate America, I actually paid off my college loan debt, became debt-free before quitting my job in December of last year. So that's a little bit about my story. Here are some photos. I know I don't like just sharing a bunch of naked photos of myself, but I do think pictures are worth 1,000 words. And you'll see that Isagenix people say, oh, how long do you do it for? And does it last? And I think this picture kind of says it all. Day one up in the top left-hand corner, really, I was not one who came in for massive weight loss. I came in for nutrition and energy, but coincidentally, you can see at day 30, I found my abs for the first time post 2 kids. Day 730, over to the far right, I still have my abs. So people say like, oh, is it a quick fix? And we'll talk about this in my presentation, but clearly it isn't. You look down in the bottom left-hand corner, and that was my Isa baby. So yeah, I got pregnant last year and nourished my body and my baby with this amazing nutrition. Healthiest baby of all 3, the only child who was born full term and a good weight, over 6 pounds. Healthy baby. And I was advanced maternal age. So there you go. And then you can see on the far bottom right, post-baby, it was the best, quickest recovery out of all 3 children. 30 days difference between the picture on the left and the picture on the right, I truly do not know what I would have done without this nutrition. Being a new mom of 3, there's no way I would have been able to prepare the meals to nourish my body and recover the way I was able to with these products. So that's a little bit about me, so you know who's speaking today. So let's dive into the content. I'm asking a rhetorical question for the audience here, but the question is, are you living the ideal life? When you kind of sit and pause and reflect about your health, you reflect about your balance in life with work, you reflect upon just the bigger picture in life. Is it ideal for you? And if not, I'm here to tell you that Isagenix is the solution, whether it is physical or it is financial or it's both. And so we're going to talk through that tonight. And what I want to do is really open up with giving you the landscape of the crisis that we're in the midst of here in North America. The key components to the crisis in North America, and then I'm going to talk about the solutions that Isagenix has to that crisis, those crises, I don't know what the plural is for that. We're going to talk about the solutions to those issues, okay? So let's talk about market trends. One of the biggest market trends that are really a key market trend here in the US is obesity. These numbers are staggering. 69% of North Americans are considered overweight or obese. That may or may not be you. For me, I wasn't obese. It was interesting. I still had 6 inches of visceral fat to lose, but it's staggering. And the reality is a lot of it has to do with lifestyle and what we've gotten ourselves into here in North America. It has to do with our food chain supply, and it has to do with our work ethic and how hard we're working and how little we're focusing on taking care of ourselves. So what I want to do is kind of talk through some of the issues that we target here with Isagenix. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the nutrition itself. If you're here on the line tonight, you probably have some level of concern about nutrition. You're here because potentially you want to change your eating habits, or you want to improve your overall health. Well, what we know here in America is that the spinach, for instance, that our parents consumed 50 years ago doesn't have nearly the iron in it today. And it has a lot to do with the way that our soils have been leached. It's the way our crops are harvested. And we're just nutrient depleted. Our food chain supply is corrupt. Most of you would probably agree. There's a reason over the past years we've come up with a stamp called organic, and it's because our food is filthy, and now we've come up with a process to put a stamp on it to make the consumer feel more secure that the food is not as filthy and also nutrient deprived. However, even though products are organic does not mean that they're not nutrient deprived, right? It just means that maybe some herbicides and pesticides have not been necessarily used. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. But in general, the foods that we're consuming today don't have nearly the vitamins and the minerals in them that they did years ago. Secondly, the toxic environment that we live in. So I got my hair colored today. I've got gray hair. I'm vain enough. Yes, I like to eat clean, but I'm still coloring those gray roots. You think there's chemicals in those products that were sitting on my scalp today? Absolutely. There are so many chemicals and toxins that we eat and breathe on a daily basis, whether we know it or not, whether it's the plastic in our mattresses that we breathe in every night. Whether I live in the city, it's the pollution I have no control over that I'm breathing in daily, all the way to the microwave dinners I grew up on that we know better than now, and the plastics that went in the microwave. We know for a fact that these are detrimental to our body. We also know for a fact that our bodies do not do a great job of excreting these toxins out of our bodies. What they do a good job of is basically neutralizing them with fatty deposits and storing them in what we call visceral fat and hiding them. Our body does a great job of hiding toxins, okay? The third thing, acidity. So I'm sure I have to have at least a couple of cancer survivors on the line, or you know someone who has had cancer. If you speak with an oncologist today, one of the first things they'll talk to you about is an alkaline diet. So we know for sure in studies that cancer cannot thrive in an in an alkaline environment. We know this from studies. We also know that cancer proliferates in an acidic environment, okay? So where I'm going with this is the average standard American diet is very acidic. There's a lot of processed foods, there's alcohol, the acidic coffees that we drink, the average Starbucks consumer. But what we know is we can shift the body to a more alkaline state. It's a more preferred state. And I'm not saying that we can cure cancer by all means. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that we can nourish the body in a way that actually alters the pH to create a more optimal pH for our bodies to thrive and for cancer to have a less chance to multiply. And the last, I guess there's two more things I wanted to talk about here, and that is chronic inflammation as we're talking about some of the major pandemics in the US. 50 years ago, we didn't know about fibromyalgia or a lot of these chronic inflammatory disorders like Crohn's, IBS. And so there's been, a spike in autoimmune and inflammatory disorders in the US. And there's a lot of curiosity around what of it is related to diet and that whole acidity piece as well. And so inflammation is a major issue in the US with many chronic illnesses. And we're going to talk about how Isagenix can be a solution for all of these contributing factors that make Americans overweight because of the visceral fat that is collected because of the toxins that are accumulated, but also that acidic pH. So we're going to talk a little bit about how our system works to not only shed visceral fat, but also create lean muscle mass, and also kind of result in some of the symptoms that I was relieved of. So the insomnia and the energy piece. And we'll talk about that in a minute. Let's see, I thought I put it in here, but maybe not. Okay, I didn't, so I'll just talk to it. And the last thing I'll hit on as we jump into the Isagenix solution, so I just am trying to kind of tie a neat bow around the issue in the United States. So we have acidic diet, right? We got toxicity from all the pollution and the toxins in our environment. And we've got inflammation. The last thing I haven't really hit on, but I think that many of us would agree to, and that's the fast-paced lifestyle. So if you're on the line today and you're interested in the nutrition, it's probably because you recognize the value in good nutrition. You recognize that you should be nourishing your body better. You understand that you want to age more youthfully. The problem is the fast-paced lives that we live, the hours that we work, the grind, the activities we have our children in the evenings. And so people are eating fast food on the go because they don't have time to prepare food. And again, that's where Isagenix can become a solution for you and your families. And that's not to say that any of us live off of Isagenix shakes, but it is a complete meal that can thoroughly nourish the body. So we'll talk about that. Okay. So let's jump into the Isoline shake. It's interesting. I hear background noise, but I thought I had everybody muted. So if you're not muted on the line, if you could please make sure you're muted just so we don't have background noise. Okay, so let's talk about the Isoline shake. It's one of the main components of our system. Let me back up for 1 second. One of the things I guess I should say is that given all of the components that create our kind of sick, tired, overworked, overweight and underweight society, we actually have core products that work in harmony to address all of that together. And I always say it's best to come into Isagenix on one of our 30-day systems because they work in unison. We're going to talk about this, how we address all these key components to create a healthy, squeaky clean body. So we've got the Isoline Shake that really addresses the lack of minerals in our food chain supply. There's ionic alfalfa in it, which is, it contains over 70 trace minerals. If you don't know much about minerals, you probably know we need them. But the minerals are kind of like keys to locks on enzymes in our body. And so when we can flood our bodies with the appropriate minerals, then our enzymes, it basically can help our bodies operate more efficiently, create more energy, and allow our bodies to operate the way God designed them to. We also know that it promotes lean muscle mass. It's really cool. We actually have studies in elderly patients who are able to put on lean muscle mass, which from a clinical perspective with my background, and any of you who are on the line who are clinical would probably agree that it's pretty shocking to be able to see anyone over the age of 50 or 60 actually put on lean muscle mass. And it has to do with the quality of our undenatured whey protein that is sourced from New Zealand, from happy cows who are grass-fed. They're not pumped full of hormones and antibiotics. They are only milked in season. So they're very healthy animals. And for that reason, the pasteurization process is very different than it is in the US. We don't have to apply high heat, which denatures the proteins. We actually do a ultra cooling process similar to your cold pressed juices. So you've got a super clean protein that's in its innate form, and you've got it paired with these essential minerals. And what you're finding is that people are able to put on lean muscle mass while they're shifting their body's pH. We know that we're actually able to neutralize the body's pH with these shakes within 2 days. You're creating more optimal pH. This is science, guys. This is what I love about it. I come from an industry of clinical research, and I wouldn't be behind something that didn't have validated clinical studies. We've got 5 head-to-head studies against the Heart Healthy Diet, actually. I think I've got some statistics on that in a little while. So that is solution number 1. We talked about nutrition and alkalinity, and we talked about the food chain supply being corrupt. This is a solution. It's also a go-to for the fast-paced lifestyle like me, who has 3 kids, and I need to slam a shake while I'm getting my kids fed and put in bed. Ionic Supreme. So let's talk about another solution, and that is for inflammation and stress. Adaptogens have become pretty mainstream. If you'd like to do your homework, write that term down. You're going to find some really cool studies that have been published just this year that are showing that adaptogens actually reduce the production of cortisol in the human body, which is probably why I was able to sleep better at night when I started initiating this particular product in the mornings. So adaptogens are actually derived from plants. They help reduce stress at a cellular level. And so what they're actually doing is reducing oxidative stress. It's great to drink in the mornings. Competitive athletes, people who put a lot of wear and tear on their bodies, will actually drink it in the mornings and in the evenings because you're producing a lot of stress and inflammation on the joints and muscle tissue. A lot of folks with chronic illness and inflammatory disorders prefer to drink this twice a day as well. Folks with Hashimoto's, different thyroid disorders, there's a lot of great ingredients that are really good for thyroid health. We call it liquid gold. In our house, it keeps the stress levels down with lots of little kids running around. But it's a key component to reducing stress and inflammation, and most people drink this in maintenance every day. So that's a solution for inflammation. The third solution is Cleanse for Life, and we talked about toxicity. So again, if you're a researcher, go look up intermittent fasting. This is nothing new. Isagenix didn't create it. There's mainstream science out there published in the New England Journal of Medicine this year about intermittent fasting and how it boosts human growth hormone. It boosts your metabolism in general. It prolongs life. Isagenix is just brilliant because they took intermittent fasting and they paired it with a botanical rich drink full of antioxidants that are going to help detoxify the body, but also help establish gut health through a soothing aloe vera in the gut during that cleansing process. It's going to take those toxins that are being released during intermittent fasting days, and it's going to help shuttle those to the liver and be excreted by the kidneys. We know that a lot of heavy metals especially are really hard to excrete. They get stored deep down in the fat tissue. We find within a 2-day fast, we're able to really strip the body of a lot of those heavy metals, those toxins, and that's where you get this surge of energy. People think, oh my gosh, fasting, I would be so exhausted. It's actually the reverse. You get loaded with energy. People always ask after a couple days in Isagenix, what is in these products that's giving me all this energy? And this is where I will tell you guys, it's not what's in the products. It's what has been within you your entire life. Your cells at a cellular level, though, over the past number of years, you've been accumulating this inflammation. You've been accumulating the stress. You've been accumulating this acidic pH. You've been accumulating the toxicities. And at a cellular level, your cells have been trying to combat a harsh environment. And so they're expending a lot of what we call ATP, energy, to combat that harsh environment. And when we strip the toxins, we reduce the inflammation, and we shift the body to an optimal pH, your body has residual energy in excess that's left over. That's why people feel like they can reorganize their desk drawer or put their dishes up at night before they go to bed. Those are some random text messages that I've gotten from people that say, I know I've got more energy because I'm putting the dishes up before I go to bed, or I'm doing the laundry before I go to bed. It's been in you the whole time. So this is just in summary. I just put this slide together for you guys, but the system works in harmony. You got to come in on a value pack and implement all of the products at one time. You're going to shift the body to an alkaline state. You're going to reduce inflammation and stress. You're going to reduce toxin load. You're going to replenish minerals, and you're going to have a cleaner operating engine. It's like an oil filter, right? It's like cleaning the oil in a car, or the filter of your filtration system in your house, right? You end up with the excess energy. You're going to shed visceral fat if it's there to shed. You're going to gain lean muscle mass. You're going to get a clearer head. You're going to have reduced inflammation, and you're going to love the person that introduced you to these products. I'm just telling you right now. I did want to highlight this really quickly before we jump into a little bit more about how you get your products paid for. It would be amiss if I didn't highlight our vitamins. It comes with product B, which is a state-of-the-art, it's actually now called Isagenesis, a state-of-the-art product that actually helps to rebuild and repair the end caps of the chromosomes. I could get really nerdy with you, but let's just say it slows the progression of aging. Again, this will be another factoid to go research and telomere science if you want to research this. The scientist who created this product actually won a Nobel Prize in 2007. So go research it. If you're a cardiologist, I've got a couple cardiologists and cardiothoracic surgeons who love the data behind this product, which is why you should, again, start on the value pack. It's our comprehensive pack that actually comes with that vitamin line. So obviously we're a comprehensive health and wellness company. We're not just that 30-day system that gets your system rebooted and restarted. We have a plethora of products that are super clean that I love. And our performance line, especially once you've gotten to where you want to be in your energy and weight loss goals, you may want to implement the performance line to really up your ante. So I'll stop there on product because I know it's already 9:26. I've already talked about the Heart Healthy Diet. Go research it. We've got data behind it. That's why I love the company. I'm going to pause here because I am going to go into some of the more financial aspects of the company. I would ask that even if you don't want to hear about how to retire from corporate America, I would ask you to stay on for a minute just to learn how to get your products paid for, and then you can jump off. But before I do that, just like I did with the nutrition, I've got my notes here, like the good little pharmacist that I am. I want to go through some statistics with you on money. People don't like to talk about money. I love to talk about money. I used to not like to talk about money. Now I love talking about money. So let's talk about the financial need in the United States. I thought this was staggering, but I can relate to it, and many of you probably can too. So I'll bring you back to the Melissa Hinault 3 years ago who came to the nutrition. Came to the nutrition as a solution for energy because I was trading a lot of time for money. and I was exhausted because I was committing way too many hours of my life to a corporate job, and not enough time to myself and to my family. I had a lot of financial success, but I had no financial leverage. If I walked away from the company the next day, I wasn't going to get another paycheck. So I was kind of trapped, and some of you may be able to relate. And if you can't relate to that, maybe you can relate to the 57% of Americans who only have $1,000 in their savings account. 57% of Americans have less than $1,000 in their savings account. The average American is $5,700 in debt. That's the average American. I was over $100,000 in debt in college loans, so I was way above the average. 8 out of 10 Americans live paycheck to paycheck. 8 out of 10. That means it doesn't matter what tax bracket you're in, you're spending what you're making. You're spending what you're making. And it's also, money is the #1 cause of spousal disputes. Money. Studies show if you can add $300 to $500 to the monthly household income, it will reduce spousal arguments, which I can attest to. As soon as I started casually sharing Isagenix and getting referral bonuses, which we'll talk about in a minute, my husband and I stopped talking about the cost of the upgrades in the house because I just started using my ISA wallet card to pay for the upgrades. So let's talk about the financial opportunity. This is what I love about the company. Our company, their vision is to impact world health and free people from physical and financial pain. And in the process, create the largest health and wellness company in the world. Guys, that's something I can get behind. That's something I can absolutely get behind. So let's talk a little bit about how, first of all, you can at least get your products paid for. And then if I can entertain you for 2 or 3 minutes on how you can go beyond getting your products paid for and ultimately become debt-free or financially free, if you like. This company can be the vehicle for you. So how does it work? So this is where, for those of you who are just interested in the product, let's talk about how you can get them paid for. We call it, I'm gonna botch it just because gotta say it now. It's you share, they share. It's this term we use, you share, they share. And ultimately what it is you come in on a value pack, a comprehensive pack, and then you duplicate that, meaning you find 2 accountability buddies. This journey would not be a journey, and I wouldn't have been successful without enrolling my husband and a couple of girlfriends from pharmacy school to do this with me. It wasn't really about getting the referral money. It was about having accountability buddies in my house and around me that could celebrate success, okay? If you come in and you actually share the products with two friends, you're instantly, if you share a value pack with them in the same given week, you're going to get $450 back from the company. $450 for bringing in accountability buddies who are going to get healthy with you. Some people would say that's ridiculous. That's really generous. How does the company stay afloat? Well, it's a couple things. You know, first of all, the reality is the company knows there's an 87% reorder rate. So they know you're going to come back because the products work. The results oriented. You're going to be a lifelong customer. There's a huge chance. But second, our company doesn't invest in marketing beyond giving it back to the most enthusiastic product user who's willing to share, right? That's where they put their money back. They put their money back in the pockets of the people who talk the most about it, who are the most enthusiastic. So you come in, I challenge you, if you're contemplating doing this 30-day system this month, we actually have free shipping this week. I challenge you to find 2 accountability buddies so that you can not only change your health, but you can change theirs. And in the meantime, offset the cost of your product. Now, you share, they share. So the second step, for those of you who are interested, if you have your friends duplicate, meaning they do exactly what you did. They bring in 2 friends too. So you've brought in 2 friends. You've gotten your $450. Now they bring in 2 friends. They each get $450 if they do it in the same, in between a Monday and Sunday. You're actually going to get a total of $900 from the company doing the you share, they share. And so you can see very quickly there's an upfront compensation model with this company, which is very standard traditional business model. They're paying you for referring your network to a product that you love, that has worked for you. And believe me, they're going to love you for introducing you to it, because it's going to change your life like it has those of us who've introduced you to coming here on the line tonight. So that's very basic upfront compensation to get your products paid for. If that was all you're interested in, feel free to jump off now. If you'd like to stay on for like 5 more minutes, I know we're running 2 minutes behind. I'm going to talk a little bit bigger. I'm going to talk a little bit bigger vision. We're going to talk a little bit more money here. Because I used to feel funny about talking about it. As a pharmacist in the healthcare field, where I was paid time for money and trading time for money, I felt kind of weird or icky about like introducing my friends to something and then like I felt like I was making money off of them to introduce them to this product. So it took me a little while to wrap my head around the difference between trading time for money and residual income, which is what this is. And it's actually a brilliant business model. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about the difference between the traditional linear income, where you do the work today and you get paid today, versus residual income, where you do the work and you share the products with your network and you get paid infinitely. Very different business models. So with linear income, you are getting paid for the work that you do today. There's no royalty afterwards. There's no another great thing is with this company, with Isagenix, I'm able to will my position. God forbid I die tomorrow. My husband would actually be willed my position, and he would get paid my income with Isagenix with me deceased. Do you think in my corporate job, if that were to happen to me, they'd be paying out my husband every week after I died? This is a legacy company with morals. I absolutely love that about this company. So let's talk about residual income. So residual income doesn't depend on you. Now, it depends on you up front. In residual income, in this business particularly, it is your responsibility to introduce these products to your network. You introduce these products to your network and you show them how to open up a wholesale account. It is that simple. Show them how to open up a wholesale account. Show them how to consume the products. The products are results oriented, they're emotional, and they work. You get your network consuming the products, they're going to get really healthy. They're going to look awesome. People are going to ask them what they're doing. And if you are coachable and you learn how we coach folks on how to share the system, which is really simple, you can funnel them into calls just like this. You're establishing your network to be set up as consumers for a state-of-the-art company that is becoming a household name. If you don't introduce them, someone else will. The beauty of this business model is that you will get a royalty for every month that these people order the product. So instead of in a traditional business model, so you like I got my hair colored today. If I refer a friend to get her hair colored, I got a little 15% off little coupon today. She said, refer a friend and you can get 15% off your next hair color. Well, what about if every time my friend came to get her hair colored, I got a discount on my hair? Or better yet, what if every time she came in to get her hair colored, I got 6% of that hairstylist bill for doing her hair? So it's a model of the power of referral, and that every time that referral happens, you're getting paid. One of the brilliancies I can share with you about this compensation model is I began very quickly, because I loved the products, sharing these products with my network. And over a period of about 2.5 years, I was able to create a large enough network of consumers who had set up wholesale accounts with me, who were loving the product, thriving on the product, that when I went on maternity leave this past year and was not paid by my corporate company, I actually got paid more by Isagenix monthly than my corporate company would have paid me if I was working full time, all while I was at home having a baby and not necessarily driving this business. I took a little bit of time off. Now I'm back and I'm pushing and I'm driving. But that goes just to show you the power of residual income. It's not linear. See, I was being paid while I was out having that baby and having special time with that baby. And and it continues, right? So if something happens to me tomorrow, my family continues to get paid. It's very linear income, again, has a cap as well. So, I always talk about in corporate, people will say, oh, is this a pyramid scheme? I love having that conversation coming from corporate America because I laugh. I'm like, no, if you're in corporate America, you're in the pyramid scheme. I've been in upper management. Everyone below me always made less money than me. Always, always. There was a pay grade and you couldn't get above it if you weren't above your manager. In network marketing, you can bypass people left, right, upline, downline, any direction. I've done it multiple times. It's the greatest equalizer. It doesn't matter what your background is, what your degree is. It just depends on your network and who have you introduced the wholesale accounts to that are consuming these products that have an 87% reorder rate because they work, they're results oriented, and they meet the major needs that are needed in the United States. And that's where I'll land and I'll just close. Our country is sick, okay? Our country works way too many hours. We're not spending enough time at home with our families. We're sacrificing way too much for our careers. And we're sick. And we're sad and we're tired and we're unhealthy. The food that we're eating is corrupt. It's depleted. And there's a reason there's so many chronic illnesses in the United States right now. I truly believe this state-of-the-art company has a solution wrapped. It's like a golden brick, right? We're addressing all the issues with nutrition. We're addressing the fast-paced lifestyle by being able to consume something quickly that's been scientifically proven to keep you healthy. And by the way, we can create a financial solution for you that could be your backup plan. I'm here to tell you today, a product user who came in, didn't fathom building a business, build a thriving business and matched and exceeded my corporate income. We have a financial solution too for those who are in debt and want to get out of debt, for those who are in a career that they want more options, or maybe you just want to take more risks in your career. Maybe you want to take more risks, but you're scared because you're so strapped financially. What if you could bring in an extra $2,000 or $3,000 a month? Would you take more risks in your career? Maybe you'd be a little bit happier trying out something new if you had this cushion in the back. So I'll land there. I know that was a lot of information. I do want to close with reminding you guys, I mentioned it a minute ago, but we actually have free shipping this week for all orders above what we call 150 business volume. I'm biased. I personally think the Ultimate Pack or the Value Pack are the two top packs to get started with. They are the best for their buck. The Ultimate Pack's going to give you nearly a 2-month supply of product and a broad overview of our health and wellness solutions. If you're coming in with a spouse, you can share it. The Value Pack is also a really good deal, and it comes with a lot of comprehensive products, including our greens, which is one of my favorites. It's got over 22 different vegetables in it. It's going to ensure that you get started off on the right foot with everything you need. So that's it for the evening. I hope I'm not forgetting anything. Make sure you reach back out to the person that sent you to this call tonight. If you're excited about learning more, I'm not going to open for questions tonight because it's already 9:40. But the person who sent you to the call will be happy to answer any questions that you have tonight. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening and hope to see you on the back end. Bye-bye.